Namaste. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Anamkara meditation program. With all my heart, with all my love, I welcome you to our program this evening. Great to be able to get together and really dive into practices aimed at bringing us to the direct experience of knowing the truth of who we are and going beyond the ordinary mind, all its activities, and really going beyond even ordinary approaches to, often meditation taught as a relaxation, a stress management kind of exercise, all of which is very good. I've done that in many programs in institutions and businesses and universities. But here we get to genuinely focus on the real deep end of what meditation and the sadhana, the overall practices that go into transforming the mind and giving us the direct experience of all that we are beyond the mind. Because the mind is this tiny little thing, this little speck, but when it's right filling our vision, it seems like that's all there is. So meditation invites us to add the infinitude of being, the infinitude of presence, the infinitude of the truth of who we are to our everyday experience. And then the mind, well, it takes its rightful size, comes into its rightful perspective. So that's what we're doing here. And we start by really also invoking our highest intentions for practice, our highest aspirations for practice. And in the Buddhist tradition, especially the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, this is invoked by saying, we're doing these practices, yes, to relieve ourselves of suffering caused by the mind, caused by ignorance, but we want to be able to become completely free and help all beings become free of suffering. So our aspirations, our intentions that help to inform and empower our practice, because it makes it something that's more than just the ordinary mind's ordinary view of things. It's going to make me feel better in the moment. I'll be more comfortable. I'll be able to deal with this better and that better. Those are all good things. They also come about with the transformation of mind through practice. But the practices are so much more exalted than that, because they are bringing you to your exalted nature, the exalted nature of all that is in all beings. So we're really drawing on the power of these practices to bring us home, the truth of who we are, so that we can then see that everywhere in all beings, that same sublime, divine, transcendent essence that gives birth to all forms, including the form of the body, including the form of the mind, is present at all times, in all places. And we only don't see it because we're identified with the limited mind and all the thoughts and feelings, the content of the mind that's running through our consciousness in the moment. So the practices and meditation sadhana, meditation lifestyle practice, the all-embracing nature of it, is to take us beyond the confines of the ordinary mind, so that we know that we can experience that fullness of being at all times, in all places, because it's always here. It is ever present. It pervades the waking state, it pervades the dream state, it pervades the deep sleep state, it transcends those states and subsumes them. So the exalted nature of who we are is reflected in that highest aspiration. We're going to know the fullness of that, because it's knowing that empowers us to both be completely free ourselves and walk that into the world for the benefit of all beings. So we've invoked that as that's the motive force behind what we're doing here in these gatherings and in our practices. And we can remember that when we're practicing at home, that we come to our seat of meditation with a kind of a dignity, a kind of exalted sense of, what am I engaging in? I'm engaging in this sublime, powerful practice. It may be simply following the breath. It might be simply following the silent throb of mantra with the breath. It's the shift of awareness out of the mind. But those are all empowering us to know what's beyond the content of the mind. So that's what we're here for, and that's what we do. And it opens the door to the fullness of knowing that. And it's in that fullness of being, knowing the fullness of the nature of pure being, not the nature of mind. We've explored that for countless lifetimes. We see all the pain, the suffering, the limited joys, the ephemeral joys, all the stuff that comes and goes in mind. But to know what gave birth to that, what holds that at all times, that's the eternal. The eternal is the substratum of the existence of the ephemeral. The mind and body and all that we experience on this level is the ephemeral, comes and goes. But it rests on the eternal. Coming to know the eternal brings us into a very different state and different relationship to all the things passing through the mind, passing through life. It expands our view so we can know how our infinite being, what we call the divine, what we call Buddha nature, Christ consciousness, whatever we want to call it, how when we see through that eye of wisdom, that unity eye, then we get to see the truth. As ineffable and inexpressible as it may be for the ordinary mind-body in the waking state, it's knowable, directly knowable. And it's symbolized by that unitive vision as the eye of wisdom, the single eye. The two eyes see duality and split everything and differentiate everything as if they're all separate and then can't put them back together. The eye of unity consciousness, the eye of wisdom, sometimes called the third eye, all symbolic language, for being able to look past what's just the ordinary view of the ordinary mind, of separation, differentiation, and what it gives birth to, the longing for unity, the longing for oneness. That longing is the hint. Following that longing, we engage in practices. Following that longing, we become more and more committed to practice moment by moment. So thank you for being ones doing that and coming this evening, sharing the power of your practices, the power of your presence, the power of your intention with our community, and walking that into your everyday life and sharing it with others. Because this is a tough time. In the Eastern traditions, it's called Kali Yuga. Kali meaning dark, and Yuga means age. So it's the dark age. What made it dark? Oh, ignorance. People's consciousness being so mired in ignorance, in delusion, that they've lost the light of truth, the light of boundless love, boundless compassion, boundless wisdom, boundless, unshakable equanimity, a fullness that doesn't constantly seek to fulfill itself by taking from this and putting down that and grabbing something else. That's the world we see because consciousness, in its limited aspect, is identified with mind. Its universal aspect, its unity consciousness, still present. That's unbreakable. That's why we shift states to come to know that. The mind doesn't create that. Our efforts don't create that. The practices don't create that. They get the mind out of the way so we can perceive what's already fully here and present. Your boundless heart of wisdom, your boundless heart of compassion and love that embraces all, that sees the suffering of all beings and wants to help relieve that. And then that becomes embodied and symbolized by Tara and the different forms of Tara, the great mother who hears the cries of the suffering of all beings and leaps forward to try and relieve that suffering. It's also what informs Mahakali in the Mahakali Yantra. Mahakali, the great goddess, who wants to cut off all the delusion that appear as symbolically as demons, plaguing the mind, getting it confused, getting it caught in wrong understanding and wrong action, producing karmas that then it suffers through. Mm. So again, it's the Great Mother who wants to come through and set all beings free so that we can all flourish together. We can know that communion in the field of that loving, compassionate presence that is the truth of who we are. Mm. So the practices are really aimed at profound levels of transformation of mind, of body, of vision, of action, of thought, of speech, everything, nothing left out. Mm. So we're engaging in these powerful, potent practices that then can set us free, and we walk that freedom into the world and help people to realize there is a way to be free. Mm. This was Buddha's message from 2,500 years ago, and he attained that state of freedom, dedicated himself to discovering what's the way to be free of all suffering. At first, when he attained that, under the Bodhi tree, he said he got up and started to walk away. He says, oh, I can't give it away. And you know, it's said in the great story of that event that Shiva, Vishnu, Brahman, everybody came, all the great gods and goddesses, and beseeched him to do something for the suffering of humanity. And upon reflection, he says, well, I can't just give it away as much as I'd like to, but each being can walk this path and know freedom for themselves. Mm. And these are the practices that we have received over thousands of years through many traditions, not just the Buddhist tradition. We can see the congruence between practices, between the yogic tradition and the Buddhist tradition, between mystic traditions, between Christian mystics and Sufi mystics, and what that opening of the state of transcendent wisdom empowers us to do and live it into this world. So that's what we're doing as we engage in contemplation, contemplation of practice, contemplation of sadhana, as we're discussing those themes here. Then we do various practices, mantra, chanting, silent meditation, all aimed at being able to go beyond the ordinary mind and recover, reclaim the fullness of being that's already here and now, and is only occluded by our identification with the mind and its content. With the ego mind and its roles that it plays, the identification it has with body, everything like that. We just set that aside. Not going to destroy it. That has its service. But we want to add to it the infinitude of being. So sadhana practice, meditative practice is additive. When you add the infinite to the finite takes its rightful size and place. And the infinite is boundlessly full, lacking nothing. When we're informed by that, we're not driven by a lack, a want, a need that gives birth to so much suffering in the world, so much exploitation, domination, control, all because people don't know their inherent fullness. So that's what we're doing here. And when we get, the freer we get, with that comes the fullness of the joy that is its inherent nature. Ananda, as the yogis would call it, in Satchidananda, Ananda, the boundless, rapturous, joyous, loving bliss of the truth of who we are. We come home to that. So what I wanted to do this evening is share some pieces from Kali's Bazaar. And this is a collection, Kali's Bazaar, penned by Kalidas, and it's also subtitled Gifts of Devotion to the Divine, Buddhist Wisdom, and Kundalini Yoga Tantra. And these are, the way they came about was in that state of listening that we get into in deep meditation, where there's just stillness, just the broad expanse of consciousness. Well, sometimes things arise and communicate to us in beautiful ways. And these were my best attempts to write those down, to share them. Right? And so this was the first volume. Then later came Oh My Beloved, and then more recently came Gently Falls Her Rain of Light. And then there's another new one coming out probably by the middle of this year. So her gifts just keep coming. But this is a piece called Kali's Bazaar, so it's the title poem for this. Kali's Bazaar. This is where your every footstep lands. Look around. For Kali, all things are possible. In Kali's Bazaar, the infinite becomes finite, and emptiness parades as form. In Kali's Bazaar, those born of love kill in hatred. Blind to their delusions, flailing about in self-inflicted agony, destroying others instead of their own ignorance. In Kali's Bazaar, where the most loving, kind, and compassionate monks are silently tortured and murdered by deluded Chinese soldiers. Where countless children, mothers, and fathers starve to death, their cries of hunger unheard, while people spend incalculable billions to watch a ball hit, kicked, thrown, or bounced to make a quickly forgotten score. In Kali's Bazaar, where your craving for reflections of yourself has led you into a hole where thousands of mirror shards give you glimpses of what you frantically seek. In Kali's Bazaar, your karma has deposited you. Peer through the darkness. You will see Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, sages and saints, Lao Tzu, Christ, Tara, Krishna, Mary, Kuan Yin, all actors in this final act of Kali Ma's 4-act play. Follow their light, marking her graceful paths to freedom. No need to hurry if you like the show. No need to worry if you slept through the earlier acts. This play repeats itself forever within Kali's Bazaar, the realm of time. When you are finally tired of becoming the victim and the perpetrator, the hunter and the hunted, the hunger and the food, the embraced and the rejected, the sinner and the saint, the bound and the free, the seeker and the sought, the shadow and the light, it's simply time to wake up. Time to wake up. That's what this age is about, waking up. That the pain of being asleep, of being caught in delusion, of being caught in ignorance, that progressively grew through the earlier 3 stages. So this is the 4th age of this whole play that's said to repeat itself over and over. These 4 ages. First, Satya Yuga, the age of truth and enlightenment. Well, that was the natural state of beings. And then things began to degrade, and Dharma, living in accord with the highest, begins to degrade until we finally come to this last act, the 4th act of the play, and where darkness is at its thickest. And so what we're called to do in this age is to stand for Dharma. That's why the message in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Mahabharata, the message of Buddha, standing for Dharma, means standing aligned, standing knowing the truth of the fullness of what our nature is, so that we can live in the freedom that knowledge gives us. Because we won't find freedom by consuming more, avoiding other things, going after something that the mind feels is attractive in the moment and then turns out it was toxic. All that stuff of the mind doesn't set us free. No matter how we're sold by that, by a $1 trillion marketing industry that always wants to tell you you're going to be happier if you consume this, have that, go after that, whatever it is. All of that swept aside. That's what it means to wake up. That's what it means to go past the pairs of opposites that were listed there, that we've explored all those oppositions through lifetimes. We're exhausted. When we're finally exhausted, we go, we've got to get out of this play. And that's where we are now. That's where people who are engaged in meditation and practice have awaken to that, oh, the ordinary mind, the ordinary awakened state does not give us lasting freedom, does not open the doors of the heart to boundless love, to, unceasing compassion, all-embracing compassion, to unshakable patience and equanimity. You don't see that coming about by being engaged in ordinary activities of the ordinary waking mind, because the ordinary waking mind only has fragments of that. That's why it's in like a mirrored room that's just all mirror shards. They're all broken. It only gets partial reflections. So we have to turn. We have to turn within to see what's the fullness of true being. We have to leave behind the ordinary mind, the ordinary waking state, and discover what illuminates all states, what illuminates here and now, what's illuminating the content of mind. We're used to going after, what the eyes see, what the ears hear, what the body feels. That's all content. We're not paying attention to what illuminates that content, what makes that content perceptible. It's like walking around, walking through the forest, right? And we're seeing trees and rocks and stones and natural things, might be waterfall, all kinds of beautiful things we're seeing. Do we pay attention to what's illuminating it? Usually not. It's accessible there, and so sometimes we go, oh, the sun is so beautiful. But most of the time, we're looking where our feet are landing, we're looking around at what's being illuminated. We're caught up in that. We're not caught by, what's illuminating it all? That's the shift that meditation brings about. Shift from content to what illumines all content. What's the awareness, the wakeful awareness, the self-luminous awareness? So when Buddha took the name Buddha, it meant awake, aware, the radiant awareness that illuminates all. That is the true nature of our being. And it's symbolically represented in so many different ways in the meditative traditions. For instance, the Sahasrara, that uppermost chakra, is really not a chakra. It's symbolized by the light of 1,000 suns, the 1,000-petaled lotus. That's nice imagery. What does that mean? It means that we are always being illuminated by the infinite. It is part of our very being. Everything about us, from the deep sleep state to the dream state to the waking state to the body to everything that happens in the body, that everything we experience is all illuminated, all perceptible by that light of consciousness that floods us every moment, all the time. So we shift. So our meditation is the shift away from the content that's being illuminated to the source of illumination itself, so that we can reunite with that. Know that, that's who I am. That's the truth of the fullness of who I am. And all this comes from that. Within that light, all this is given birth. So we are all that is ephemeral and limited, as well as what's infinite and transcendent. There's nothing left out. We are all that. That's what we're invited to know through meditative practice. That's what we enter into to come home to the truth of who we are, that we can truly be free and then walk unshakable equanimity, walk boundless patience, walk kindness, compassion into the world that so hungers for that, and demonstrate that the source of that is within us. That's where we found it. That's what we revel in. That was Buddha's message. That was Christ's message. The kingdom of heaven lies within. It's the message of every great being, this non-dual unity consciousness that informs our ordinary mind and relieves it of suffering and relieves it from acting in ways that create suffering for others. Because when we're suffering, we flail about and create suffering for others. So we're getting free of that entire game. It's all about stillness, this life, this death, this moment arising, this moment swallowed by Kali Ma. The ever-present stillness of being, infinite, spacious, eternally free. Kali's beloved, Lord Shiva, you and me. Move with that awareness throughout the day, through periods of silence, meditation, and chanting, through walking, eating, speaking, and working. All movement arises out of stillness. Return to stillness over and over and over. Watch the mind. See how it craves movement, how it begs attention to follow its desires and attachments. See how letting go of these immediately opens the experience of spaciousness, of bare awareness. The distant movements of thoughts and perceptions darting about like fireflies in the night sky. Every moment, my dear one, is an opportunity to look beyond the movements of mind which delude you into feeling you are that tiny, ephemeral collection of fireflies. Know the infinite expanse of the sky of awareness. Become a sky dancer. No, you are Shiva, you are Buddha. Om Tat Sat. That is the truth of who you are. This is what we're coming home to. This is what all the ancient traditions inform us of, that this is where we can find true and lasting rest, stillness, ease, comfort. Not the ease and comfort that the ordinary mind knows because certain conditions were met, but it also knows those conditions aren't going to last. So it knows its comfort and ease are not going to last. So it can never fully rest. We fully come to rest only in the eternal, the true, the source of it all, the light of our own being. That's where we find that spaciousness and stillness and unshakable equanimity. And that's why we work to quiet the mind, detach from it, stop feeding it attention, stop giving our attention to every thought and feeling and every ephemeral piece of content that flows through, because that just keeps it going, keeps it agitated. We step back, let go, let go. Let go into silence. All sound arises out of silence and dissolves into silence. All thought arises out of silence, dissolves into silence. The universe arises out of silence and dissolves into silence. Suffering arises out of silence and dissolves into silence. The unbounded spaciousness of silence, filled with the clear light of awareness, dissolves the roots of pain and sorrow. Take refuge in silence and know unshakable joy. Unshakable joy. That's the infinitude of being. It's the joy, the ananda, the rapture, the ecstasy that is uncaused. All the pleasures, even the most extreme pleasures of the mind, have a cause, and thus they have a beginning and an end. That's completely different from the very nature, the eternal nature of being. The abundance of joy, the unshakable peace, the boundless compassion. They're not caused by something external. They are the very nature of that consciousness, that radiant awareness. Knowing that, we can become transparent to that. We can have our minds pour little slices of peace augmented by the fullness of that unshakable equanimity. We can have the little ephemeral fireflies of pleasure. Now we're flooded with the light of this joyous, rapturous awareness. That's all part of what shifts with coming home to the truth of who we are and then walking in that into the world for the benefit of all beings. Everybody wants to know that. Everyone wants to be free. They think they want to be free of external conditions. Some of that is true. Much of it has to do with being free of the mind itself that creates even the torturous external conditions we see now. So freedom means transforming our consciousness, our awareness, getting it free of this distorted mind so we can inhabit the truth of who we are and live that into the world. And what we're going to be doing now to support the mind shifting in that way is we're going to be chanting. And we're going to be chanting an ancient and one of the Maha mantras, the great mantras, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. And it simply means I bow to the auspicious one, the infinite, this boundless awareness. It's not really a being. It's beyond being and non-being. Being has limits. It has a definition. This has nothing. It's infinite. So there are no boundaries to say, oh, being, and on the other side of being is non-being. No, it's beyond being and non-being. It's pure, radiant awareness. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. It's the radiant awareness that allows you to perceive anything you're perceiving in this moment through any of the senses. It's the radiant awareness that gives birth to your body and every cell in your body. It's the radiant awareness. It takes the form of the life force of prana. It's the radiant awareness that takes the form of Kundalini Shakti, the power of consciousness to know itself in its infinitude as well as know itself as finite, that you encompass it all, that you embrace it all, that you are all. That's the awareness, that's the consciousness that throbs as mantra. So mantra is not mere words. Words in ordinary language are born of the mind, and so they just keep one circling around the maze of the mind. Mantra comes from beyond the mind as a life preserver thrown to the ordinary mind to say, take hold of this, become absorbed in this, become fully identified. I am mantra, I'm the throb of the mantra, I'm the source of the mantra, I'm the Shakti of the mantra. Become absorbed in it in that way so you can know the fullness of being that gave rise to mantra and gave rise to your body and gives rise to the world and holds it all as its own self, its own divine, all-encompassing self. That's what we're capable of knowing. That's what's precious about this human birth. That's part of why we engage in these sublime practices, to realize the fullness that this human birth has given us the opportunity to know, and to then culminate in the highest attainment of a human birth, to know that fullness, to be free and pass that freedom on to all beings. That's what we're given to. What an exalted life, even in these times, even in Kali Yuga. This is the truth. So that's what we're capable of. So as we become absorbed in mantra, become aware of that is a throb of your own being, and follow it until mantra dissolves into silence, stillness. Mantra arises out of silence, out of stillness. It dissolves into silence and stillness. Become absorbed in mantra and dissolve into truth. Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Shivaya. Om Namah 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 Shivaya. Becoming absorbed in the mantra and following the mantra back to its source, the stillness, the infinitude of radiant awareness. So we end with this prayer. And may all our practices truly benefit everyone. May all beings know complete freedom from suffering. And may all the power and the merit that we generate through our practices this evening go to serving to set all beings free, all beings, throughout all time, all planes, all existences. May we set all beings free. So in that state of knowing, the state that unfolds through the gift of the power, the Shakti, the grace of practice, we come to know, oh, there are no other beings. There's only one. We're all of that. We don't want any part of ourself left out. No part left to suffer. We embrace all with loving compassion. We endeavor for all to be free so that we can all come to know that truth and that freedom, and then build a society, a culture that's based on that boundless loving compassion, that wisdom that sees the equality of all beings, all equally divine, all equally deserving of love, compassion, kindness, and freedom. We can live that into the world. So thank you for being ones following the path, treading the path on your own in your own ways, becoming more and more empowered to know the fullness of your being, walk the freedom of that into the world, and then help to engender the longing for that freedom in others as they see your boundless heart of compassion, wisdom, and grace. So thank you. Thank you for being ones doing that, holding your light aloft in this time of darkness, this time of Kali Yuga. Because the blessings of this time is that the truth is more available than in any other age. The highest teachings, the highest practice available to everyone. So we can all come to know that and hold the light of Dharma, the light of truth, the light of loving compassion aloft that illuminate the world. That's what we're given to do. That's what we can revel in. So thank you for coming this evening, bringing the fullness of your presence, the power of your practice, the power of your commitment, and sharing it with all. So thank you. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you again in 2 weeks. Jai Ma.